So now they're creating a new quarterback stat. Well, two quarterback stats. And those stats are the quarterback support system stat. Yes, because for some reason, there's this forever narrative of, well, Joe Burrow's only good because the fact he has two number one receivers. Even though his two number one receivers have been hurt before many games, a total of more than 5 games each, and he has still been at same level of success without them being injured. Anyway, though, so that's the point, right? So the point is to see how good, because people always make the narrative, well, this quarterback would be so much better if he had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, or just add in 2 random wide receivers. But he doesn't, right? Now, here's my issue, right? I'm not against this idea, and I'm cool with this idea, right? But we're going to factor in offensive lines as well, okay? Because if we're just doing wide receivers, and as you're going to see in this video, he explains like the, offensive play calls and stuff like that, then that's just stupid. Because offensive line is a huge part of success as well. Sometimes quarterbacks can have the best offensive line in the game and be a lot more successful, rather than having the worst offensive line in the game and having to create the same success. I don't care if you have the best receivers in the world. You can't throw the ball. You can't throw the ball because your line sucks. Let's watch this video.
We all spend a lot of time talking about quarterbacks, especially how well they perform or don't. We know that landing spot and fit are extremely important for playing quarterback in the NFL, but we don't have a standard way to quantify that support. I wanted to take QB discussions to the next level by coming up with a way to clearly show how much support a quarterback does or
All right, hang on. I kind of want to look. Don't blame Daniel Jones for this Giants mess when the problems are on the offensive line. See, I don't know if I always agree with that as much, because I feel like I don't know. I don't think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback in general. I don't think the offensive line has anything to do with that. I think it really what happens is you have a really great quarterback, right? And if you don't give him an offensive line, he's going to look a lot less great. Right? But it's not going to be like, oh, you take an awful quarterback, you give him a good offensive line, now automatically he's going to be great. I don't always agree with that concept. Patrick Mahomes lacks help without Travis Kelce slammed by Chiefs fans versus Lions. He still has one of the best offensive lines in the game every single year. The only year he didn't was when they went to the Super Bowl. He didn't have the best, but he had a good one. He didn't have the best, though. They went to the Super Bowl versus the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers absolutely destroyed them. Destroyed them. That was when his offensive line wasn't the greatest. Nonetheless, though, he always has one of the best offensive lines, and I will admit his receiving core has definitely hurt him a lot. Isaiah Pacheco has helped him out a lot, and Kelce has helped him out a lot. But, yeah, I mean, you got to take in offensive line especially. Lamar Jackson doesn't have weapons that Allen, Burrow, and Hurts has. How does he not have weapons? Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, Mark Andrews, arguably the best tight end in the league. Now he has Nelson Aguilar, Rashad Bateman. I mean, they used 2 first-round picks on 2 of those receivers. What else do you want them to do at that point? I mean, Odell, I mean, what's his name? Lamar was the one complaining and going crazy wanting Odell Beckham in the offseason. He could have went crazy and wanted another receiver. He could have said, hey, I want DeAndre Hopkins, or I want this guy, or Tyreek Hill. Like, he was the one who wanted Odell Beckham. So, to say he didn't have weapons or receivers, and this was December 25th, by the way, to say he didn't have options is absolutely bullcrap. It's just a nonsense excuse right there. Josh Allen has Gabe Davis, Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Knox. He also has Stephon Diggs. And then they have Shakir, I think his name is, the wide receiver. So he has plenty of options. And he has James Cook in the backfield. Let him cook. Come on now. And then, okay, he's saying he doesn't have as many weapons as him. Doesn't have the weapons that him has. Okay, and then Hurts.
Next level.
Okay, Hurts is everything. I don't even know what to say about Hurts. Hurts is another level when it comes to quarterback like weapons. It's official. Justin Fields has better weapons than Tua. Tua had Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and A-Chain in the backfield. Justin Fields has DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney? I feel like they have someone else. I just don't know their name. They have Jimmy Graham, right? No, he went to the Saints. I don't even know who I know they have, oh, crap. I know the guy's name. He has a 4-letter last name. They have a pretty solid tight end. Okay.
A quarterback does or does not.
No matter the quarterback, the Vikings have weapons. Yeah, they have arguably the best receiver in the NFL. They have arguably one of the best rookies in the NFL. And see, now my brain's just going blank right now. The guy they just drafted. Yeah, no, they're perfectly okay with their receiving core. All right, so let's watch the rest of this.
Arjun Menon at PFF, and together we created a stat that quantifies the support a QB receives. We call it QBS for quarterback support. It ranks the amount of help that a quarterback receives from his team, from the offensive play calling, other players on the roster, the defense, special teams. Think of it as a degree of difficulty for playing quarterback in the NFL. Once we have the QBS scores, we can rank QBs using it and take the next step, which might be the most important, using established quarterback performance metrics to compare them to the amount of support a quarterback receives and how well they perform on the field. We call this QBDD, or quarterback difficulty differential. Our goal is that this pair of new stats will give you a dynamic look at the amount of support a quarterback receives and the success they're able to generate because of it or in spite of it.
See, I don't know. Again, like I said, I understand, and there's a million different stats I feel like they create every single year at this point. But at the end of the day, you win. You win. That's how you do it. And I know they're like, well, you can't. Winning is not a quarterback stat because it takes the whole team to win. That is true. That is very true. But at the same time, it's like you have a bad quarterback, you don't win, and then you blame the quarterback and say he sucks. If a quarterback goes out there and throws 6 touchdowns, well, it's a team sport. It's the team that won this game. What if the quarterback goes out there and throws 6 pick sixes and gives up 42 points himself? Well, the quarterback lost the game. Well, I thought it wasn't a quarterback stat. Why is it a quarterback stat now? It's only a quarterback stat when it's convenient. That's what I'm realizing with certain stats. But nonetheless, though, he says, I know there will be a lot of questions about how we put this together, what numbers we use, and why we use them. This chart that blah, blah, blah created shows summary data for the 2023 regular season, the final column, overall combined stats, QBS. Again, like I have no issue with them doing this stat. It's just I hope they do this stat in the correct way. That's what I will say. They got to do it in the correct way, and as long as they do it in the correct way, I have no problem with it. It's just I feel like this is going to be very slanted to, well, Lamar Jackson has no one, so therefore he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Because at the end of the day, again, if you win, you're the best quarterback. Okay? The goal of every quarterback every year is to get to a Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, right? Mahomes done it many times. We've been to a Super Bowl. Joe's been to a Super Bowl. He hasn't won it. He's been to back-to-back championships. He won 1 or 2. Look at the rest of the quarterbacks on that list. Jalen Hurts been to a Super Bowl. He lost, right? Keep going down the list then. Josh Allen, never been to a Super Bowl, never won a championship, okay? Who's the next quarterback? Tua. Well, he's only been to 1 playoff game and lost. Okay, who's the next quarterback on that list, right? So you just go down the list, and that's kind of how I measure success to a certain degree. Who's been there, who's winning, and who's losing. I do agree that there are certain quarterbacks that have more support, but then, like, for example, with Joe, you give him 2-star receivers, and then he has no line. He has no line, and then his play calling is crap. Well, how do you take that into effect? Then you have Patrick, who has no receivers except the best tight end in the league, who arguably is a wide receiver in his own right, but he has the best line every year of any team. And arguably one of the best running backs in his backfield. How do you take that in effect? And he barely made the, well, I say, he barely won a division this year. He won by 1 game. Then Jalen Hurts arguably has the best team possible out of all 3 of those quarterbacks I just listed, and he flopped the bed in the playoffs. And is this stat for regular season or is it for postseason? Because I feel like postseason matters way more than regular season. I know the whole age-old, well, Peyton Manning's the king of the regular season, but the postseason I feel like it's just as important, if not way more important than that. Again, like I said, a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. I guess we'll find out more answers as time goes on. Shout out to EJ for this, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.